Good evening. Welcome to the May 28th Town Board Meeting, Town of Rush. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That would you call the roll, please?
Councilperson Chase,
Here.
Supervisor Williver,
Here.
Councilperson Morelli,
Here.
Councilperson Brown,
Here.
Councilperson Kies will be joining after the executive session. He's going to join us at the executive session in the conference room. Make a motion to move into executive session for personnel matter.
I'll second that.
We didn't approve it.
We do it both.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was gonna say.
There's a first and
I was waiting.
second.
Councilperson Chase,
Hi.
Supervisor Williver.
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli,
Aye.
Councilperson Brown,
Aye.
Don't see Luther. Says he's waiting.
Anybody in the waiting room?
Mhm. This one.
That could be if he has if he's using an old play, yeah.
If he's using an old link, he's gonna wait forever.
You should have got, I sent the new link. Did you check his town board
Pardon?
email? Did you check his town board email? That's where the new link is.
Says he's waiting.
He's not here.
Did you ask him if he did the email that was sent out this morning?
He says he is using the email from this morning for the email and for the Zoom address. You don't even know the shot. In that.
That does not look familiar with our. That shouldn't have appeared. I don't know what
Just
you're
three.
looking at.
Yeah, it's just three.
Yeah, there's a
Any call?
action has to be unanimous, because there's 5 members and 2 are here, so. There's a quorum and action to be taken, but if action is taken, it has to be unanimous.
Thank you. Goodbye.
It has to be unanimous in this board, because there's no agreement.
I've never seen that pop up.
He says to go on without him.
The Zoom link's not working, other people, someone else is trying to get in, a town employee. And it says the link, it says the host is on another meeting.
Yeah, that's what,
Weird.
So do you have the right link?
I do, because I created it.
Everybody else has that link that you created.
it says the host has another meeting in progress.
But Pam did get a message saying that there's something wrong with the Zoom contract.
Right. Do you have the, are you using the May 14th link and not this one? No?
Now I'm using the May 28th.
We got a quorum, we can just move on.
We can, again, you have a quorum that's present.
Yeah, he
If
says,
actions can be taken, it has to be unanimous for it to pass.
Okay.
That's.
he said to move on. I make a motion to move back into the regular meeting of the town board.
I'll second that.
Councilperson Chase,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye.
Councilperson Morale.
Aye.
On announcements, I got a letter from the comptroller's office. Sales tax revenue for the first quarter was $153,103.05. Which is roughly $5,000 more than last year. Schedule for the June schedule for the rifle range is in, it's posted. I got a Monroe County Capital Improvement Program for 2026 through 2031. If anyone would like to see that, the capital improvements the county is scheduled to try to take care of over the next 5 years. And there was also, I got a letter from the Office of Cannabis Management that has given Hannah Health, permission to sell THC products. But apparently they can't do it yet. There's another inspection involved, but they should be able to in the near future. And that's it for announcements. Comments from anyone?
Catherine Hankins, 2353 Pinnacle Road. On the agenda, I saw that there is a resolution to authorize the town supervisor to sign an easement agreement with National Grid for 1/3 acre of land on Gola Road for an undisclosed amount. This resolution was posted late yesterday with no backup or invitation to review the actual easement. This resolution does not contain information and raises important questions. Who vetted the easement? What laws ensure the easement is properly prepared and written to protect? When were the details discussed and who attended these discussions? Who is protecting public interest? And who is assessing the potential environmental impacts on the Genesee River? There are also basic questions regarding the purpose, scope, and impact of this easement that require answers. Where are the maps and land specifications for the 1/3 acre, which is 14,520 square feet? What is the intended use of the easement? Will there be fences, and how will this easement restrict public access? Will there be safety issues for visitors who go there for recreational activities? Will it be dangerous for them after the easement is in place? The resolution should also be written based on New York State law and not only include specific details, but also state that this easement is subject to a permissive referendum. When that provision is required in a decision, it should raise the awareness of how important the resolution is to the town. The easement should also be the subject to secret to protect the environment. Other details in the resolution should be included to answer the questions such as, is this easement the result of a petition seeking eminent domain? Are there alternative solutions that would minimize damage to public land and limit public access? Will the easement compromise or destroy its current use as a Town of Rush public park, which was designated as a town park since the comprehensive plan in 1993? I forgot to bring the map, but that shows clearly on those maps. What is the proposed compensation for National Grid? Is the compensation fair and comparable to what other towns receive? Taxpayers want answers. They deserve answers before the town board makes decisions. Other important questions would include, is this the only option for National Grid? Or are there other available methods that have not been considered due to cost or efficiency reasons? How will the town manage future issues related to this easement? What are the terms of compensation? Is it just one fee or will it be continued? How can we ensure a balanced legal assessment easement that addresses both the utilities needs and the public's right to access and enjoy their land while protecting the Genesee River? What provisions exist to prevent National Grid from requesting more land in the future? In closing, I hope you will all agree that this resolution is not ready for the town board to authorize a utility easement. No one is against a utility easement, but all of these questions should be addressed first before the decision is made. These are the same questions any private property owner would ask, and they would expect answers to if National Grid requested an easement through their land. Where is the legal guidance to assess the risk? It is unreasonable to expect our town supervisor and town board to adhere to the law as rigorously. Is it unreasonable to expect our town supervisor and town board to adhere to the law as rigorously as the other 933 towns in New York State are required to do? I have I have copies of that, but I do have two resolutions from other towns with easements to their energy, to their national, it wasn't National Grid, but it was New York State Energy and Gas, and another one. So I could certainly give them to our town attorney, but it is an example that this resolution has nothing in it. And easements, it could, 14,000 square feet, it could be a swath through the place, and essentially it would be de facto selling that land. So please don't pass that resolution this evening, and let's have it available so we can study it. And it should be very carefully done. It's the first place I ever went to when I came to Rush after college was Gola. I had friends that lived there. People may not realize that that's a secret place for a lot of people in this town. So we should do it with care, should be a secret review, and we should follow the lead of other towns in New York State. So thank you. I'll give you copies and then I don't know. You want these are two examples.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes. Janet Glocker, I live on Rush Henrietta Town Line Road. I noticed the easement that was on the agenda, so I brought material from Niagara Mohawk to me for an easement on my land. And but just for the sake of information, it's about $4,500 an acre. So I don't know what your offer is, but this is This is what I really prepared for this evening. It's been some time since I've commented on renewable energy issues. It's frankly hard to know where to start. Congress is at work on the big, beautiful bill sought by President Trump. The House version contains significant cuts to subsidies and rules for renewable energy projects. None of these projects, not wind turbines, solar installations, or battery energy storage systems, otherwise called BESS, can operate without significant government subsidies. Who knows what the Senate will do in their markups? Invenergy is privately owned, and I saw a report years ago that it's worth $8 to $10 billion. But it received a $4 billion funding from Blackstone, the world's largest alternative asset manager. Whether Invenergy and Horseshoe will be affected by the subsidy outcomes of this big, beautiful bill is, of course, unknown. When Invenergy and Horseshoe went to Comida, the application stated, quote, renewable energy projects like Horseshoe routinely receive financial assistance from IDAs. Large-scale renewable energy systems are not financially viable without financial assistance. I have the Comida application if anyone is interested, and you will see that $19 million of money is coming from Monroe County in assistance. This does not include what is presently approximately $15 million in federal investment tax credit assistance. I don't know whether it will get potential production tax credits based on the megawatt hours. I do not know what NYSERDA has committed, but based on other projects, it would be several million. So if you take the 19 million from Monroe County, plus the 15 million in investment tax credits, that's $34 million in subsidies. The Comida project says that Horseshoe says the project costs $33 million. These are all dollar amounts in 2022 dollars. Time has passed. Components are more expensive. There are fluctuating tariffs and tariff threats, and they are complicating the renewable energy construction projects. There are 3 golden rules for energy security projects. There has to be diversification of supplies. There has to be sufficient political predictability for the company's long-term investment decisions, and there has to be global cooperation. These 3 rules for successful growth in renewable energy are challenged at the moment. A few weeks ago, the United States imposed tariffs as high as 145% on Chinese exports. China controls most of the variable components for wind, solar, and battery equipment: panels, inverters, rare earths, lithium-ion batteries, wires, etc. Inverters are necessary for all solar and wind projects because they convert energy from DC to AC. As recently as 2 weeks ago, it was made public that some Chinese inverters contain what is popularly called a kill switch. If activated, the kill switch could shut down the project and hence the grid. This is political industrial terrorism. Todd Knabe is the Invenergy contact person for Horseshoe Solar and the town of Rush. Supervisor Woolover stated several months ago that Knabe said the construction holdup was because the solar panels would come from Ohio and the waiting list was long. As I recall, Knabe noted that construction would start in 26 with completion by 27. First Solar.
End of 26.
End of 26. First Solar is one of the companies alleging a dumping charge in courts involved with international trade. First Solar builds panels in Ohio. I won't go into dumping, but suffice it to say that if various countries importing panels to the US are judged to be guilty of dumping, tariffs will range from 651% to 3,500% for Cambodia. Malaysian tariffs would be 14% to 41%. Thailand 375% to 972%. All of this stuff. This will make panels even more in demand. So First Solar will have a challenge. First Solar produces cadmium telluride coated panels. Cadmium is available in relative abundance. It's a toxic metal that causes bone and kidney damage and cancer. Tellurium is an extremely rare element produced as a byproduct of copper refining. The ongoing wisdom is that the rare nature of tellurium will limit the number of panels that can be produced. The sustainability officer, however, of First Solar, says that cadmium telluride is a stable compound that has proven to be safe. I don't know if you had hail at your house several weekends ago. I did, some golf ball sized. Councilman Keyes shared a story of a solar installation ruined by hail in Nebraska. The report noted subsequent cadmium pollution in soil and water. Did their panels come from First Solar? I've been trying to find out, but unsuccessful. So we have kill switches, we have heavy metal pollution, we have PFAS and hazardous compounds in panels. It's a whole new world of hurt out there as New York State rushes to install renewable energy. I respectively ask us all to pay attention to renewable energy issues affecting our town. I'll send a copy of the statement to the town board and Clerk Hargrave for inclusion in the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mary Ann?
Hi, Marian Rizzo, Stall Road. So I'm addressing the Gola Road property as well. The Gola Road property has 8.3 acres of land. It is town owned. It's in the comprehensive plan. It's listed as public green space. It's where the Honeoye Creek meets the river. I'm asking you to not give or lease or sell any part of this land or allow an easement of 3/4 of an acre, because that pretty much is a de facto gift, which will not allow people to use that part of it. And I believe there are alternatives that National Grid can use that are much easier for them and also wouldn't put a toll on this land going through some adjacent farmlands. Wouldn't have to take down any trees. This land is a unique parcel. People fish there. Again, it's where the creek meets the river, very special place. People have told me that they launch a kayak there under the bridge. And most importantly, it's forested land. It's a riparian buffer. It serves as a buffer, a filter. It filters out non-point source pollution. The definition of a riparian buffers are strips of vegetation, trees, bushes, grasses, planted next to streams, rivers, wetlands, and other water bodies to help protect the water quality. There's numerous benefits to riparian buffers, improving the water quality. And as you know, the river, Genesee River, flows into Lake Ontario, and Lake Ontario is a lake where a lot of Rochester gets their water. Maybe parts of Canada as well. You probably know that. Maybe you could tell me. Another benefit is erosion control, flood mitigation, habitat for wildlife, and to filter pollutants, stabilizing the stream banks, providing shade, and providing food for mammals, for birds, and for aquatic life. I hope you can come to value the land. Several citizens value the land, and if you would, I would like you to represent the citizens who value our respect for the benefits of this land. So let's, if you could, encourage National Grid to find another way. And lastly, this land is accessible for people to use, but even if it wasn't, it's still valuable. And communities are trying to expand their riparians, and this actually should be expanded to 3 times the size at least. There is a group called the Genesee River Watch. The mission of the Genesee River Watch is to improve the water quality of 2,500 square miles of the Genesee watershed. The mission is also to inform and educate the public and connect people to the river. In closing, the health of the water and the air and the soil is directly related to the human health. We have approximately 8 or 9 miles of riverfront in our town. I hope that we celebrate that, and I hope that we increase the riparian buffer. Please help us to preserve this land and this buffer. So I just think that if you know, if the 3/4 of an acre could go directly right through it, it's gonna, you know, if you would have that on your own land, it's gonna cut down all the trees in that swatch. And they're gonna have to keep trimming any trees nearby for perpetuity. So please say no to this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, moving on. Approval of the minutes.
So I don't know if we can do this because I was not here for the April 23rd board meeting,
Okay,
and we don't have a quorum.
okay.
Taylor. So I move to approve the town board regular minutes of Wednesday, May 14th, as submitted by Town Clerk Hargrave. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilperson Chase,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli,
Aye.
We have a transfer of funds.
So we should do that one first, right?
Yes.
I can read this. So I move to authorize the transfer of funds and payment in connection with the grant established with New York State Council of the Arts for the property at 1911 Rush Scottsville Road, Rush, New York, in the amount of $32,500 to the Rush Historical Society, 5977 East Henrietta Road, Rush, New York. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilperson Chase,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli,
Aye.
Approval of the abstract.
So, yes. So I move, having reviewed all vouchers on abstract 5-2 of May 28th, 2025, authorizing payment totaling $87,364.02, which includes Fund AA General for $61,028.76, DA Highway Townwide for $19,979.95, and Fund LL Library for $6,446.21. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilperson Chase,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli,
Aye. And let me just mention, out of that total $87,364.02, that includes the $32,500 for payment to the Rush Historical Society to further the work at the 1911 house. It also includes $26,952.58 for health insurance for town employees. So those two things are a significant part of that particular abstract.
Thank you. Report of officers. Deputy Supervisor Chase.
I have nothing to report.
Councilperson Morelli?
So on Tuesday, last Tuesday, May 20th, I attended the Rush Fire Commissioners meeting, which happened to be, excuse me, a public forum. And the discussion was all about having enough volunteers for the Rush Fire Department, but also how we're going to man our ambulances, or whether the town or the fire district, forms an agreement with an outside agency. There was a lot of discussion back and forth in and amongst the people who were there, which represented the fire commissioners and the fire department, two separate entities. And there was a lot of discussion, and the fire department would like more time to come up with a plan as to how they would be able to keep the ambulances here in Rush manned by Rush firefighters and EMTs. And I think it's going to go in that direction. There was a lot of interest that way, a lot of comments made. Personally, I think it's worth looking at that and see what we're going to do. Of foremost importance is to make sure that the town of Rush has good service, quick service, that we are used to receiving, and that doesn't get diminished in any way by any of the changes being discussed. That's my personal takeaway from having attended that, and I hope that they can get together, the two groups, to seriously look at, our options for the town of Rush. Everybody has the same goal in mind. There's no deviation from that. It's just, how do we do it?
How do we get there? Thank you. Deputy Clerk Annette?
So tax balance as the date to still be collected is 175,000. Compared to last year, it was 192,000. The town clerk's office has had to reproduce a great number of duplicate marriage licenses because of the Real ID law that is now in effect, as requiring ladies to get proof of their marriage license, of their names, their last names, to get that. And then, as what Supervisor Williver said, we've received a letter from the Office of Cannabis Management authorizing Canna Health and Wellness to sell cannabis. And then also, first quarter sales tax distribution share for Rush was $153,103.05 compared to $146,594.89 in 2024.
Thank you.
People still spending money.
Kevin?
I have nothing to report.
I attended the supervisors meeting at the Emergency Operations Center on Scottsville Road. That's quite an operation over there. They're not quite up, but they plan to be by the 4th. It's quite impressive over there. I attended the library board meeting. I attended a meeting at the Industry Residential Advisory Board. And I was up in the cemetery for the Memorial Day ceremony. Memorial Day. And that's it. Old business. A resolution for the report audit completion.
Want me to read that?
I will.
You want to read it?
Well, do you have to, because you performed the audit?
Well, I don't know.
Probably
Kevin?
should.
That's what I thought typically if you perform the audit,
I
then.
should read the resolution. I can do that.
And then I have the paperwork for you. I'll give it to you at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
So I so move that pursuant to section 2019-A of the Uniform Justice Court Act, an audit was performed at the Rush Town Justice Court on May 13th, 2025 by Councilperson Morelli and Supervisor Williver, and that the Rush Town Justice Court findings report was submitted to the town clerk and the Unified Justice Court as required. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilperson Chase,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli,
Aye.
We need to have a resolution authorizing, we had to find a engineering firm to perform, prevention soil or provide a spill prevention, control and countermeasure plan for the new tanks over at the highway garage. Should they spring a leak, we have to have a plan on what to do about it. I've got quotes from two different engineering firms. One was for $9,500, one was $4,500. What I understand, it's a pretty standard piece of engineering that happens, and I would like to go with the $4,500 one, Mark's Engineering, our new engineering firm.
Is there grant money for that? You know, has anybody looked into that? I'm just asking. if there is.
I haven't looked into it. I don't know.
Maybe the highway department can just take a look to see if we can get some money for that kind of thing.
I'll look around and see if there's any grants available.
Okay.
I'm gonna table that one then too. Or that resolution.
I'm not saying we table it, we gotta
Yeah,
do
we should move ahead.
I'm just
and-
saying if we can
and-
get reimbursed for it,
Okay.
that'd be a good thing.
I so move to authorize the supervisor to sign a proposal with Marks Engineering to perform petroleum spill prevention and control and countermeasure plan at the Town of Rush Highway Department, 804 Rush West Rush Road, Rush, New York, for an amount not to exceed $4,500. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilperson Chase,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli,
Aye.
On the Gola Road, easement, our attorney has reviewed their proposal. I didn't get it on the website in time, so we'll hold it off to the next meeting and people can peruse what was submitted and
I do want, I apologize, I hadn't had a chance to look at the resolution, modify it before the meeting, but I didn't want to bolster it to make, because it's missing some of the information.
Okay, so
we
we'll-
can
we'll
just
put it off
table
to-
that for next time, and then we can
table
walk
that.
through it. And any questions?
Okay,
Thank you. I think we do need to post the information on the website. I think that's the right thing to do, and I
Yep.
do appreciate the comments made here tonight. And you know, if I believe we have what was said, if we could look into that, should we go the extra step and look at seeker and do all
Oh,
of
yeah.
these steps that, you know, before we just say, yeah, go ahead, National Grid, do what you want. Whether that's the right thing to do, remains to be seen. I think we're not there yet.
Right, and the way the agreement is set up, it's a little different than the street easement, so that's why I want to modify the language, and we can discuss it and then.
But also take into
Oh, no,
consideration
I-
the
I-
recommendations that were made here tonight about due diligence before we do anything.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
all right.
It was-
It's not posted, and I agree with your comments, is what I'm saying.
I'll make sure it gets out tomorrow. Having conducted all the business of the town, make a motion to adjourn. Of, upcoming meetings. Conservation Board, the 12th, Zoning Board, the 19th, and Planning Board, the 24th.
I'll second that motion.
Councilperson Chase,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli,
Aye.